So, Mom, you know what it's about 2:15 in the afternoon right now. You know what I could really use?
A nap.
Or I could use some Hao Bao Bao coffee.
Oh, I was just thinking about that
Yeah, I could
myself.
really use a cup of coffee. And you know who we have here today is Darren Mann. He is the owner of Hao Bao Bao Coffee. Welcome, Darren.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much for, yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us. We wanted to interview you and just ask you a few questions. We wanted to hear about your business, and just get to know you a little bit. So, are you from Orlando?
No, not originally from Orlando.
Where are
So
you from?
originally from Indiana. So born and raised in Indiana.
So, what brought you down here?
Well, long story short, my wife and I were overseas before we moved to Florida. So we were in China for 2 years and Hong Kong for 3 years. And then I got a teaching job here in Florida as a middle school Bible teacher at Orangewood Christian School. So in Maitland. So that's what brought us here to Florida.
Very cool. Now, how long did you teach for?
So I taught for almost 11 years. So 5 years overseas and 6 years here in the States. So
What were you teaching when you were in China?
same actually, middle school Bible and high school Bible. So
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Did you teach in Mandarin?
no, I did not. We still try. I try to learn the language, but it was tough.
Yeah, it's a tough
Can
language.
you say anything in Mandarin for us?
I could say ni hao, which is
Ni
hello.
hao. I
Ni
love
hao, how are you doing?
Now, have you always been an entrepreneur, had an entrepreneurial spirit, had small businesses? What led to How About Coffee?
So basically, I grew up in a home that my parents actually owned a business. So, and I worked for them, and they owned actually GNR Quilting. My brother still has the business, and basically, what we did is we made bedspreads for boats, and these were like yachts, the ones that you see out in the ocean. And so we did all the bedspreads for these
Well,
boats.
that's
And
niche.
yeah, so it was a fun learning experience. I got to see how my parents ran a business, and I got to be a part of it. And so, never thought I would get into business someday, but you never know what happens with that. But yeah, How About Coffee start? Well, it started when we adopted our son Titus from China, and
I'm gonna show a picture of him while you're of your family.
so when we adopted him, my wife and I did all these fundraisers, and they were good fundraisers. I mean, we did all kinds, but it was a ton of work. And so we did a second adoption after we adopted Titus. And I told my wife, with the second adoption, what if we, bought some roasters? We sold our camper and buy some roasters, and started selling coffee. I had been roasting coffee ever since college back in 2006, and I enjoy it. I loved it. People told me that you should sell it, and I just had no reason to. And we saw a fundraiser, another coffee organization that we worked with when we adopted Titus. They did coffee for adoption too, and so I thought, well, we can do that too. And I just didn't really like the way they were kind of doing it, so I wanted to do something a little different. And so we just kind of took the idea and ran with it. And I just thought I can get nice equipment out of it, and then as soon as our adoption's done with, we sell the business, and then I go on to teaching again. But people started getting a hold of what we were doing, and then they started asking us, hey, could you help us with our adoptions? And so we kind of didn't think about that. That wasn't part of the plan, but we couldn't say no. And so, because we raised the money faster than what we thought with our adoption. So basically we started the business in July, and we were fully funded by December. And so in January we started raising money for families. And so yeah, how do we get the name? Some people ask. Hao Bao Bao. Well, my wife created a blog called Hao Bao Bao when we adopted Titus, and she wrote about our journey of adoption through that blog. And so I told my wife, hey, what if we just take your blog name, Hao Bao Bao, and add coffee to it, and that would be the name of the business. And Hao means precious, and Bao Bao means baby. So in English, it means precious baby coffee, because it kind of shows us what we do, and because we not only make good coffee, but we also help adoption. So that's
Not that you're advocating coffee for babies. Just
no, now we're not getting coffee for babies. I don't think parents would like that.
make that clear.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back for a second. So how did you get started roasting coffee? So I went to Costa Rica a few years ago, and they have coffee roasters everywhere. I mean, you're walking down the street and there's a shop with people roasting coffee, but that's not really the case in the United States. So how did you get involved in coffee roasting? And I mean, you've been drinking coffee your whole life and it was something that interested you? How did that get started?
Actually, so my parents had drinking coffee, but I never drank it at home. And so when I went to college, I had a roommate who brewed coffee all the time, and he's like, "You need coffee?" I'm like, "No, I don't need coffee." And I started getting papers and homework, and I was getting tired and needed to stay up. So I started to drink coffee because, that's what we need to keep
Right,
going.
right.
And another guy on my floor at Moody Bible Institute, where I went to school at, he bought a little roaster about this size, an air roaster. And he said, "Hey, have you ever thought about roasting coffee?" And I was like, "No." And so I thought this is kind of cool. So we would go into our prayer closet at Moody Bible Institute and roast in there, so we wouldn't set off the fire alarm because of the smoke from the. So yeah, so him and I would go in there. I'd watch him do it, and it was kind of cool because we get a new batch of beans in and we try it, and it tasted different than another batch come in, and that one tastes different. And you can do like light, medium, and dark. You can mix them. So there's a lot of different cool things about it, and the flavor was different. And so it excited me. So after a year, I asked my parents to get me a coffee roaster as like a little present. And so I got my little roaster and I started experimenting. And that's how I kind of got into coffee roasting. And
So what's the coffee behind you? What is that? Is that roasted? Is that not roasted?
so the coffee up there that's all roasted. That's actually our blends. We actually keep those in the bigger containers because we do little K cups. Let me show you one of those real fast. Um, we make our own K cups, so we keep those blends in there. So we have these little K cups that we have for K cup machines.
I
And
didn't know you did
You have
K-cups.
cake. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I'm gonna have to. So my wife uses K cups every single day, and I did not know that you guys had How About K
Yeah.
cup. So I'm gonna go ahead and need to buy some of those from you. All right. So before we get off this call, we'll talk about that. Right.
Yeah, so this is the house blend. We have which is a medium dark, and then we have a espresso blend, which is our dark, and then we have a light roast called a breakfast blend.
Very
So
cool. So I want to show. Did you have something?
No, I was gonna say, I'd much rather put his money into How Bao Bao's pocket than Starbucks.
Oh,
or
yeah,
Barney's,
absolutely. Yeah,
or
for
fill
sure.
in the blank coffee.
Foxtail is a big one. Yeah.
No.
So I wanted to show people your current setup in selling coffee, and I think it's so cool. So this is your current, that's what you're in every day right now, right?
yeah, so not every day, but on the weekends, and then also if we have events and stuff like this. This was a specific event we did. But yes, we were doing it every day when we had Crunch Fitness when we were over there. But this is our mobile trailer. We actually started to realize that people not only wanted bags of coffee that you see on the left, my left,
Right over here.
right over there, and that's what when we first started selling coffee, we just did it in a tent. That's all we had was just like a tent with two tables, and we just sold bags of coffee. And then we would brew coffee for people just to try it for samples, and then they would be like, "Oh wow, this tastes good," so they buy a bag. And then eventually people asked, "Well, can you make coffee?" And I was like, "Well, I guess I could try." So I researched and I bought this trailer off of Alibaba, which is eBay. A lot of people say you can get ripped off or something by it, but I went ahead and bought it, and when I bought it, COVID happened, and so I didn't get the trailer for 6 months later. Usually it takes only 2 months, but I went down to Miami, picked it up on a trailer. They put it on a trailer, and then I brought it back up, and we got it all connected. And then everybody from the market that Brenda's familiar with at Sanford, we're like, "Oh, when's that trailer coming?" Because they're all super excited because I told them about it, and I pulled in there and with the trailer for the first time. So, but it's been really cool because it's unique. A lot of people love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
People
It just goes to show that you can literally get anything on Alibaba, right? A mobile barista station on Alibaba. Very nice, very nice. So let me ask you this. So if you were to, what's your go-to coffee drink? So if you're thirsty or you need some energy, what are you drinking?
Right now I'm drinking. This is a cold brew. This is our cold brew. So like it's really good. I like it. We actually sell in half gallons as well, and we sell at the market. And then we also have a cold brew roast that we give you the recipe on how to make cold brew at home. So you would get the exact same recipe that we do. So this is good in the afternoon, especially here in Florida. It's so hot, especially lately, just to have something colder to drink. But in the
Does
morning,
does cold brew have more caffeine than regular coffee? I've heard it does, but is that true?
a lot of people say it does, but in my opinion, cold brew is made with a medium dark is what we use, and so the lighter the roast, the more caffeine you're going to get. And so now concentrate, if someone's making cold brew concentrate, where they put in a lot more grinds and less water, and then they dilute it, we don't do that. We like to actually just brew it at the temperature, and then also the right amount, so that way it's drinkable. We just don't do the whole dilution type of thing. So we came up with the recipe that it's just drinkable by the time you're done letting it sit for 12 hours. So I like it that way. Now other places they'll do a concentrate and make it, and then you dump in, put extra water in.
Gotcha.
There's nothing bad about that. It's just everybody does their thing different.
So Hao Bao Bao has some exciting news, and this may be breaking news for some of you watching. But what is next for Hao Bao Bao Coffee?
So, God continues us to grow this like business, and so we been excited to. A lot of people ask us, "Well, where is your shop?" And we would always tell them, "Well, we have a commissary kitchen where we use for the trailer and all that." And so, but we're working on it, and eventually, and so God's led us to partner with Rachel and Jeremy Patnell, and together my wife Brittany and myself are going to open up this coffee shop, and the coffee shop's actually going to be in Sanford, which is kind of cool. When we first were thinking about coffee shop, we were thinking Orange City, and people were like, "Why didn't you going to be in Sanford? This is where you started 4 years ago." And so God just worked it out where we found this location, and the landlord's been really nice. Give us tons of credits for the first year, so we don't have to pay a whole lot of rent, and so that's been a blessing. And so it's just we've seen God move to open this place up. So we're excited about it. We're hoping, I'm hoping and praying that we can be open by October. We'll see. It all depends on permits right now is what we're waiting step. And so we can only move as fast as we can, but we'd love to get open as soon as possible because we have a lot of people that are just excited about us having our own coffee shop. It's going to help us to hopefully be able to have more wholesale accounts. People will know who we are by having a physical location. Also, we're going to do a wall called the adoption wall. We're going to put a world map on there, and then we have pictures of all the families we helped out, and they're all going to be stationed up there just to kind of show people what they're giving their money to, and then future families that we're going to continue to help. We'll put them up there on as well, and then people be able to see pinpoint all over, not just here. We've helped families here in the U.S. adopt kids, but also all over the world. So
right. And your slogan is "Coffee with a Cause," right? I love that. So you actually right now have a Indiegogo fundraiser crowdfunding, and there's just a few days left. So if you're watching this, we're gonna put the link to the Indiegogo to help Darren and his wife Brittany to support them as they plant this coffee shop. I'm super excited for you, and so part of this money is going to be going towards helping kids who be adopted across the world, and so that's really incredible. I love that. It's so cool. We want to be a part of that. We want to support you, and we're excited about what's going to happen with Hao Bao Bao and how you guys are going to continue to grow and expand in the future.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, we really do appreciate it very much. And like I said, we're just excited. We have plans to even be able to give more money once the shop gets up and running for adoption. So right now we're continuing with our same, $1 per bag and then 50% of tips, but we're going to change that to like a percentage of our sales. So, but once that shop gets fully up and running, we'll be able to do that. So that's the plan. So, and then eventually get open.
That's awesome. Did you have anything else?
No, I saw the announcement about the permanent location, and I'm just glad to hear that it's actually happening. I saw it on Instagram, so
yeah,
I'm happy for you and for your family.
So follow Hao Bao Bao on Instagram. Is it just Hao Bao Bao Coffee on Instagram?
Yep, we're on TikTok too as well. I have had to learn how to make TikTok
videos. I'm not on TikTok, so you'll have to teach me how to do it too.
So, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. It says Hao Bao Bao Coffee. I believe it's Hao Bao Bao, like with dots in between, and then
Gotcha.
coffee.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much, Darren, for joining us. We appreciate it. Best of luck to you. We're going to be excited to come check out the new location of Hao Bao Coffee in Sanford, coming hopefully October.
We appreciate you guys having us on and just hearing about our story. So we really appreciate you both and all that you guys do. So
Good luck, Darren.
well, thank
God
you.
bless.
Yep. God bless you. All right. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.